What's up, guys? Welcome back to the channel and more Birthright here. So we've started a series on taking a look at the initial Priest Realm spells, and today we're going to focus on Bless Army after we've looked at Bless Landed. So this one, again, is pretty short and sweet here, and pretty obvious as for its implications and uses, right? So if we're going to be getting into some military action, whether you're, again, let's say a Priest region, or you're maybe like a fighter type region, and you have sort of a given faith on your side, or have a priest who has access to these realm spells. Certainly, again, having access to Bless Army can push your army over the top, or if you are maybe lacking in quality troops, that can help boost them a little bit as well. Or maybe you just don't have a larger army and you're trying to take on one of the major powers that does just have that quantity, maybe to your quality. So something like, trying to take on Gore or Avenel or Borroween, where they just have a ton of units. That is going to be a tricky proposition. But even some of the other smaller realms still have, can have decent sized armies. Or maybe you're dealing with one of the major sort of evil powers, let's say going up against the Gorgon or something crazy like that, where, you're going to be dealing with hordes and hordes of, just sort of like endless armies, or other of the big bad monsters. So being able to boost your army is going to be pretty powerful here. So you do have to have a priest who can, or has access to war and combat spheres. You have to have at least a level 3 holding. Basically will cost you 1 regency per unit and 1 gold bar, and certainly at least a level 1 character. Makes sense, right? And it lasts for basically 2 war moves plus 1 war move per level. So if you have a pretty decent level priest casting this, you're going to get value for your sort of investment here in having your army blessed. Now, again, just because you happen to have access to this for your army, you certainly want to, if you're going to be engaging in some more activities here, some combat activities, definitely research your potential adversaries and see if they also have priests who would be on the opposing side and could buff your enemy's armies as well. So something to certainly look at before you get yourself into a situation you might not be able to extract yourself from. But anyway, this spell allows a priest to increase the effectiveness of a unit, increasing all of its offensive scores by 1 for the duration of the spell. He can affect a maximum of 1 unit per level. Again, so ideally you want a decent level priest on your side to be able to cast this, just to get mileage out of this spell. Or I guess several lower level priests, but that could be tougher to acquire as well. Anyway, and all target units must be in the same province initially. So ideally, let's say you're fighting a defensive battle and you're maybe you're outnumbered, or they just have better quality troops, and you need to do something to raise your guys' stats. Certainly, boosting your defenders is going to help put you in a decent spot for your battles. But again, if you're getting ready to launch an invasion or something like that, or maybe a counterattack, certainly having boosted units as well is going to be pretty special. And so there's when we cover the different army units, so there's definitely some units where the spell is definitely going to get more value out of, versus some that maybe aren't going to be so great to cast it on. So if you have a lot of, let's say, like levy and irregular type units, yeah, sure, it's going to make them decent units, but you want to ideally cast Bless Army on some of the top tier units available out there. So certainly knights, heavy infantry or elite infantry, depending on the type of combat. Maybe if you have lots of pikemen, that could be pretty powerful too. If you're dealing against or fighting against cavalry heavy opponents, other potential things there. So certainly some of the named units that are out there. So depending on some of the military orders or special just infamous units out there, being able to bless them on top of that certainly puts them over the edge and will help you win some battles. Now, certainly Bless Army, again, just for the stat boosts and all that, it will come into play too if you're dealing with a lot of non-human armies. So whether it's hordes of goblins, orogs, or some of the other big nasties out there like undead units, giants, among other things. Your average human or just our average army unit isn't going to be all that great, regardless more or less of what type it is. So giving them a little bit of a boost certainly can help against some of the bigger, tougher things out there. So that being said, guys, a pretty simple spell and a great one to have in your repertoire. Let us know in the comments some interesting moments you've had in your various campaigns where Bless Army has really made that difference and how it was employed. So drop those comments, guys, like and subscribe, and we'll have more Birthright for you soon. Take care.